So, as we saw that from this awareness is English word. In Sanskrit, as I told you, it is Chit Swarupa, right? So that Brahman, which is limitless, it is of what nature? It is that existence which is in form of Chit, and that has no limit, right? Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Okay? Or Sat, Chit, Ananda, Brahma. Right? So therefore, this is the meaning of Brahman. Brahman is that which is limitless, right? Which does not have any limitation. What is the nature of that Brahman? It is in form of existence, which is what? Of the nature of consciousness, which is not that little consciousness that we think or that we are used to in the mind. It doesn't, that consciousness that Shastra is talking about doesn't have a location, right? And that is limitless. And limitless word means that can you have two things and can you call that one thing limitless?
No.
No. Limitless means one, right? Because if there are two things, if one is very big and the other one is very small, that very small thing will limit the other.
So what use is non-dual?
That's why we talk about non-duality. Excellent. Because if non-duality means Advaita. So therefore, because if there are two things, by definition it is what?
Limited.
Limited. Okay? But here is the case where the time, space and object, it all resolves into awareness. Awareness is what? Not divided by anything, it's not limited by anything, because the relationship between time, space and object and awareness is that of what? Satya and Mithya. Mithya cannot limit Satya. Right? And therefore, all that is here is actually that awareness, which has taken what, Satish's question, different forms. Organized itself as what? Projected itself as time, projected itself as space, and what? Organized itself what? Through these atoms and particles and created what? This varied Jagat with all these different forms, which are not just randomly organized, they are what? Organized
Intelligently.
with so much intelligence. So much intelligence is unfathomable. Even just take one organ of your body and try to totally recreate that organ with our human intelligence. Years and years and years of research. Then connect that organ with every other organ to make one system called body. Then create systems through which one body interacts with the other. Complex, mind-boggling. Right? So therefore, this organ, the manifestation is not just some kind of a random manifestation. Okay? It follows amazing amount of intelligence. So therefore, this awareness, right, which itself is what? Does it depend upon time? Does it depend upon space? Does it depend upon objects? No. Before all of them came about, what was there? That awareness, from which everything comes. Take the example of you and your dream world. Before the dream world came, were you there or not? You were there, right? With reference to that dream world, you became what? The creator of that dream. You manifested in form of that dream. But you are much, that status of being the creator, does it stick to you? No. Why?
Because you're...
It's true. What you're saying is the right answer.
When you wake up, it's
So that means, very good. As Neeru says, when you wake up, there is no dream world. And when there is no dream world, the status of creator is what? With reference to creation. Okay? So therefore, this awareness is just free, but with reference to time, space and object manifestation, which is what we call Jagat. Jagat is the universe. It becomes what? The creator of the universe. Right? Simple example. Before you give birth to a child, you are there or not? You are there. But can somebody call you a mother? Because child has not yet come. So mother is a relational term. It is only with reference to what? The child. Right? So Brahman is awareness, which is the nature. With reference to the world which you see, it becomes what?
The creator.
The creator. Excellent. So that is what we call the Isha. Isha means with reference to this names, form and time and space, it becomes what? That from which the time, space and all the objects come. Okay? And that requires, what does it require? Intelligence. Excellent. Because the whole universe is exhibiting some incredible amount of intelligence. Incredible.
It's intelligence logic.
So it is not logic. Logic happens in the
Intellect.
minds of people. This is that intelligence because of which your neurons are organized and they are capable of what? Reasoning.
Perhaps we can say logic is limiting and intelligence is not.
Exactly. So logic means it happens in the mind and mind as an instrument is limited. Correct. Correct.
Neema, something is going on in my mind. I just want to bring it out so that before we read Ishvara, I really wanted to clear my mind. We did speak about default. When you say that no particles can exist on their own, I fully agree. When you say that a skin component does not exist on its own, I am 100% with you. But they exist in conjunction with whatever is in existence around us. I would call it a life balance cycle, I would call it a balance. You spoke about the sun distant away from Earth. I would say that yes, that is how the things are hanging in the galaxies. Perfect balance. I would like to bring it to the smallest of the particles as known to the scientists. Because beyond that, virtual imagination has not gone in, and I would love to see how we are talking about this adhyay. When two electrons or two atoms or the smallest of the particles exist, they have got three things in them. I'm sorry in case we do not know some of the science things, it may not, but still. We have got the protons and the neutrons which are in the nucleus. We've got the electrons which are doing the moving around. Now since we all are composed of that, so I take that to be the smallest microorganism, right? Now an electron, atom would, smallest of the atoms, microorganism, would exist in balance with its surrounding. If it is not balanced, it will result into something imbalanced. And even human beings do not live in imbalance. If I have a fear, how long can I live in fear? If I am not in a relationship, I would love to look forward to a relationship so that I can come into balance. And if a relationship does not give me a balance, I might walk out of it or I might stay with it. See, Now the point is that the atoms, when they exist, when they merge, say hydrogen and oxygen, when they merge in water, what happens is that the outer
What
electrons...
is your question?
Question, I'm coming to the balance part. I'm
Yeah.
talking of the over-intelligence when we talk of Ishai, that it is intelligence composition. I'm just questioning that as against the default part which we spoke about, as to how things exist. So when the electrons or two atoms are coming closer, they come in closer because the outer electrons, they merge in together because their complete orbit is incomplete. They want to make that orbit complete. Once the orbit is complete, there is a balance. Now this is the balance as my awareness as of now speaks of. That this balance is created as we graduate into existence in totality, whether it is freeze with in conjunction with water or something. So is it part of that particle theory that we are talking about, or the Big Bang theory?
See, basically what Vedanta says is something which is different from science, as I keep on telling you, right? Because if it was exactly saying same thing as science, you don't need Vedanta, right? So therefore, it has a vision. The vision is that awareness, which is self-evident to you, right, is the cause of what?
Creation.
The creation. Creation means what?
All the objects.
The objects, the time and space.
All three dimensions.
Right? Now, what I'm saying, so from that comes the manifestation of time and space and all the objects. And all the objects are organized through certain laws. Right? So that means we are looking a little bit more into that nature of that creation. Okay?
So to actually make your point and her point common thing, the gravitational force and the strong and weak force which creates all this universe, the intelligence to create the forces is the awareness. The way, what has created these laws is the intelligence. So the underlying below that you have to go. Today the science assumes this happens because gravity happens. Now the question is, where did gravity come from in the first book? Is it a creation or it is an existence? So you say the creation of gravity was made by the intelligence, which is the awareness. Am I right?
Anyway, let's not, because we are not just entering into free discussions, and because it will all confuse others. So please try to stick. And if you have questions which are very, very technical, which is occupying your mind, you can talk about it a little bit after the class, because it confuses others and they don't know exactly where to fit in what you are saying within this whole unfoldment. Right? So we can talk about it a little bit independently. So therefore, this time, space and the whole manifestation itself, what is the origin? Origin is Brahman, right? But before that time, space and object come, do you need the knowledge of that or not? So for example, Upanishads give a very simple example. They say, Ghataha Karta Ghatagnaha. Before a pot is made, the person, normal you and me, can you make that pot without the knowledge of that pot?
No.
You can't. Right? So that means the object pot is a result of what? The knowledge which precedes that manifestation of that. With my knowledge, I bring into manifestation that object pot. Right? Ghataha karta ghatagnaha. Not only I need the knowledge, but I also need what? The power. I need power to create the pot. So before any given form comes into manifestation, what is required is what? The knowledge and power, without which no manifestation can come. Okay? So therefore, ghatasya kartaha ghatagnaha, sarvasya kartaha sarvagnaha. the creator of time, space and objects, before it comes into manifestation, it requires what?
Knowledge.
Knowledge.
Knowledge of supreme.
The knowledge which is just amazing, how to manifest stars, how to manifest planets, how to manifest the whole connection between all this. The galaxies are moving constantly. But within that constantly moving galaxies, what? And planets and everything which is moving within it, the distances remain constant. Oh my God. Within which each organism is connected to the other through series of. Your presence here is connected to what? The going of, the extinction of dinosaurs. Because only after dinosaurs went, mammals could survive on this earth. Whether you recognize or not, you are operating within this whole grand system where causes within causes within causes, that everything is connecting to the other through series of laws. Series of laws. Okay? So therefore, you came with that design. You came with the eye and you came with the body. And those who go to medical school, what are they doing? They are trying to study this body which you already came with, which everybody already came with. It was already put together. Each cell was connected to the other. Billions of cells were connected to the other. For it to have what? Digestive system, evacuation system, respiratory system. Neurons which give you the capacity to think. 4 functions. Emotive, memory, intellect, the eye cells. You came with everything. A cow also came with a physical body. Also came with basic perception and inference. Came with its own digestive system. Its own circulatory system. Its own instinct survival. And the connection between me and cow, which is not slaughtering the cow and eating the cow, but what the cow provides? Nourishment. Okay. All this is part of this design. The cow wants to survive, just as we human beings want to survive, they also want to survive. That instinct mechanism is not something which is a creation of you and me. What right do we have to disturb that balance? So therefore, that whole intelligence is part of this sarvajna. So this, therefore, the creation with reference to time, space and objects, this awareness becomes what? The creator. The creator gets a new name. What is the name? Ishvara. Isha. As I told you, the name Ishvara, why do you need 2 names, Brahman and Ishvara?
The addition of intelligence to the...
Excellent. Good, Rajan. I'm happy. You can figure it out. The addition of this intelligence, Sarvajnaha Sarvashaktiman Ishvara. Before time, space, object comes into manifestation, it necessarily requires what? The knowledge and power, that intelligence. Right? So therefore, like here, the steel gets a new name. What is the new name? Cup. So same awareness gets a new name, which is what? Ishvara, with reference to what? Creation.
So in this case, awareness becomes mithya. No?
No.
It's not necessarily-
No.
It's still satyam.
Awareness does not become mithya because what is before awareness or all intelligence?
Awareness.
Exactly. So awareness still remains satyam. This is the satyam. The intelligence cannot exist without the awareness. What is the most fundamental? What is the satyam? Awareness. But when that awareness assumes the status of what? The creator, it gets another name, and that is Ishvara. And what is that name? What is the connotation of that name? What it adds in terms of functionality to this awareness is intelligence and power. Sarvajnaha, Sarvashaktiman.
Are you saying that Brahman is also created by Ishvara? Wanted to?
No. Brahman, with reference to the creation, gets another name called Ishvara. Like you, with reference to your child, you add one more name, which is father.
You think they are the same?
It's one thing.
So Brahman gets another name through the creator.
Brahman gives the another name with reference to what? The creation. What is the name it gets? The creator, Ishvara. Right? Because even before that manifestation, Brahman is there or not? Is there. The example, look at this example. Right? Even before you give a birth to a child, you are there or not? Yes. But you get an additional name, mother, with reference to what? The child. You are still the same. But you get an additional name because there is an additional function. You understand?
Can Ishvara be termed an Upadi?
Yeah, that is, yes. You can say. But let's not add one more term, but it's correct. What you're saying is correct. Okay? So this Brahman, with reference to creation, becomes what? The creator, Isha. In order for it to manifest, time, space, and objects and arranged them in a way that all these different activities can take place, it requires what? Intelligence. So therefore, Isha is what? Sarvajnaha, Sarvashaktiman. All knowledge and all power. The logic is, to manifest one form, I first need the knowledge and power to manifest that form. To manifest time, space and object universe, you first need to what? Have knowledge. Right? So therefore, this is what we call Isha. How do we understand this Sarvajnaha, Isha? When we look at the universe, one of the easiest ways to appreciate the manifestation of this knowledge is what?
Looking at nature.
Looking at nature. As I was explaining, right, how every object in the universe is not just a random object. It is organized in a way that what? It is connected to the other object. Through what? Series of laws. When you go and study physics in your school, what are you studying? Huh?
The laws of nature.
The laws of the nature. How do, if you go and study astrophysics, what are you studying? How? What are you studying? How stars and all are organized. Did you go and organize them all? They already came. We use our intelligence to do what? Our little intelligence to do what?
Study, observe, and then come out.
Study, observe, and then what?
Write them down as a law.
Understand it. And remove our ignorance of how the whole thing works. When you go and study quantum physics, what are you doing? What he is describing. He is not just stopping at just random some particle and all. He's figuring out how these, atom has its nucleus and how there are all these electrons and protons and neutrons and all. He's going into detail. But all that was already there or not? It was already there. Somebody has already put it together for it to become what? That these three coming together will become atom. Already. And when we have applied our buddhi, what have we done? Have we created that reality? No, we've figured it out. Okay. So therefore, when you go and study how the plant kingdom works, what are you doing?
Discovering biology.
Discovering how that intelligence has organized the plant kingdom. And we give it a name. What is the name we give? Botany. You go to medical school. 8 years. Meera, how long did you spend in medical school? 6 years. 6 years of studying what? How human body is organized.
And gets disorganized.
And gets disorganized. And how there is a whole natural mechanism, right? Once you understand, you can use your intelligence to put it back into equilibrium.
Neema, I would like to add a small comment concerning science, and I'm not ready to say it about Vedanta, but science does not at all understand nature. They only describe nature, and with the knowledge of that, they don't know why something is falling. They say it's gravity, then they say it's curvature of space, but that's a description, but they don't understand anything.
I mean, that may be true, but of course you can't say they don't understand anything. I mean,
They describe.
there is already an organization, and what is their attempt? Not to create anything, but to
Try and understand.
try and understand it. Any intelligent intervention requires for you to understand how it works, and then what? Within that, you can bring to, sometimes with your intelligence, bring to balance something which has lost the balance. And we are able to do many things. Right? So therefore, you go to medical school, there is already an intelligence which is organized. All these billions of cells are already coordinating with each other. All the different organs and how they work in conjunction with the other to make this whole body going is all organized. So your attempt is only to understand it, and within that understanding, then what? You apply your intelligence to bring it back. So therefore, now, when we have interactions with each other, and it leaves some scars, certain impressions, certain feelings that we find it very hard to get rid of, or certain feelings of joy that we all search. That whole study of human mind and how it works and how the past experiences influence the way you think. That whole intelligence which organizes that if this is your experience, the likelihood is that this is what you would feel. That whole order, what is that order called? Psychology. So that intelligence, otherwise we'll say, what do you mean by intelligence? These are all different manifestations of that intelligence. That intelligence organizes planets. When we study that, we call it astrophysics. That intelligence organizes plant kingdom. When we study that, we call it botany. That intelligence organizes human body. When we study that, we call it medical sciences. That intelligence makes a human brain behave in a certain manner. When we study that, we call it study of psychology. Sarvatnaha Sarvashaktiman Ishvara.
Neema, sometimes you say Isha and sometimes Ishvara. Is it the same?
It's the same. The cause of the universe. The cause of the universe has name. The name is Isha. The Isha, the word, comes from what? Overlordship. Overlordship means that which is from where the entire universe is. Surya, you wanted to say something? No? Sorry, in the last class I saw you raised your hand. No, now I remember. No.
So I just want to recast, just to re-understand his intelligence process, just to clarify again, because I thought I understood. So the awareness has intelligence, is full of knowledge, has knowledge, but when it refers to creation, then you talk of it as Ishvara. Is that what it is?
So awareness, between awareness and wait for this question, because if I now begin to talk about it, it will all be confusing.
Okay.
Let's first understand Ishvara, then we will understand the relationship between
Awareness and Ishvara.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not brought there yet.
No, I kind of implied, but if it is not clear, doesn't matter. I will come back to that. Okay? So therefore, that first of all, you have to understand that that awareness and Ishvara are two separate entities. No. That you understood, right?
Yes.
Because you and Father are the two entities? No. One is what?
One is a creation of a particular thing which happened, actually, because it got created.
Absolutely.
I got it.
Exactly. One is reality, the other one is a particular role with reference to creation.
But there are two entities.
No, there are no two entities. The whole thing is non-duality. You can't have a second entity. Are two entities, you and mother, you being mother, are the two? How many are there?
For me and my child.
No. The name mother that you get, does it make you two? It makes you, it's only one who gets additional name because of what?
Role.
A specific relationship.
So one is reality and one is created.
One is a given name with reference to what?
Creation.
Exactly. And a function is added. What is a function? From that awareness is just awareness, then here it is what? Sarvajnaha Sarvashaktiman. All knowledge and all power. Ishvara Sarvajnaha Sarvashaktiman. But the Swarupa of Ishvara is what?
Awareness.
Awareness. Swarupa of Ishvara is Brahman.
How do you translate Swarupa?
Swarupa is the essential nature.
Swarup, original root.
So, right? So therefore, this intelligence is something that is not that you just, Upanishads when they point out, you can see the presence of this intelligence as what? So many different laws which are there. Nobody can deny that. And nobody can claim that I have created those laws. We are born into this. Along with the creation came all these laws which govern the universe. Then you have to work within those laws. Along with the creation came gravity. Well before Newton discovered laws of gravity, the apples were still falling. It came like that. That design was already there. What did Newton do? Discovered it. And after having discovered, human mind can actually utilize it in so many ways. Once we came to know the laws of gravity, we can use it to do what?
To launch spaceships into space.
To launch spaceship into space.
To work with anti-gravity.
Yeah, exactly.
But along with Ishvara comes duality, right? Because once you have a creator, then you have to have something that's created. And then when you go beyond that back to Brahman, you get the oneness again.
Not really, because imagine I gave an example of dream.
So it's mithya, but I'm just saying the concept.
So that means, you're right, it doesn't create duality. As I told you, this cup and one cup and one thali and one katori, does it create duality? It doesn't create duality. If you pay attention to the form, it seems like many, but if you see at the content, it's only what? It's still one. The forms don't count because they are mithya. You can't make them disappear, that is correct. But the forms don't create duality. Taking the forms as reality creates duality.
Then it's limitless.
Okay, so I said it wrong. What I meant is with the creation, where you get this mix up and the confusion comes in because of the creator creation.
Yeah. So therefore, this creator, very good. Fabi's question is lovely. I like that question because that is something that you have to understand. Very good. Right? So now I want you to understand that there is Sarvajnaha, Sarvashaktiman, which manifests Ishvara. If I don't cover it in this class, remind me. I want to cover this point. It's a very good point. This Sarvajna, Sarvashaktiman, Ishvara manifests in form of all these different laws which we go and study in schools. Right? Everything that we study, we spend years spending, is an insight into what?
Ishvara.
Ishvara from a given standpoint. The intelligence, how as it manifests in plant kingdom, organization of plant kingdom, botany. Right? So therefore, I'm constantly only discovering what? Different aspects of Ishvara. In addition to all these laws, Vedas also talk about two other and many other additional manifestation of this intelligence. One of the manifestation is what? The law of dharma. Law of dharma, as I explained many times before, a human mind is born with a certain understanding of what is right and what is wrong. Surya has beautiful videos which are studies which are done by the professors at Yale University, which actually substantiate what Vedanta was talking about. What Vedanta says is human mind comes with the understanding of what is right and what is wrong. There is a law of dharma out there, but if I am not aware of law of dharma, I cannot be held responsible. But if there is a law of dharma out there and I am aware of it, and if I don't follow it, then I am responsible. Right? If you are not aware of it, you can't be held responsible. Okay? So therefore, there is this law of dharma. Intuitively, every child knows it. Without going to school, without being taught by the parent, every child, whether that child is in Africa or in USA or in Australia or in a small village in India, every child knows, I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be cheated. I don't want to be lied to. And the child equally knows what? That others don't want the same from me. Others don't want to be cheated. Others don't want to be lied to. Others don't want to be hurt. So that means there is this knowledge which has come along with the minute you take a human or equivalent birth, where you have a faculty of choice, you come with the understanding of dharma to guide your free will by. Now, in spite of knowing it, does everybody follow dharma? Not necessarily. So what happens? We already analyzed, so I don't want to spend too much time, right? What happens is the people perceive that there is a self-interest if I don't follow dharma. In their perception. Example, right? By robbing, somebody gave a very nice example. Somebody gave the example that the child knows that I don't want to be hurt and others don't want to be hurt. But it may end up hurting the other person. Why? Because it wants to feel sense of power over others. So that means what? On one hand there is understanding of dharma, and on the other hand there is what? Self-interest in form of what? Becoming more powerful. At times, what? Our sense of dharma takes over and we do what is to be done, and at some times our wanting power takes over, and what happens? We ignore dharma. When that happens, then there is a natural corrective mechanism that Alok is talking about, which is in form of what? The other side of dharma is karma. Okay, you've made that choice, there is a consequence. You have to face the consequence of that choice. You can't escape that. That is what we call laws. You can't defy laws of gravity. You can't just say, oh, I don't care about them, because they govern your life.
Are these universal laws?
These are universal laws. These are all manifestation of Ishvara. That all knowledge and all power manifests in form of this universe with all these different laws. So these are laws of the universe, but there is an intelligence which organizes this universe through series of laws, and the name of that intelligence is Isha.
Yeah, but who does the decoding?
What does it mean?
Who does the decoding of these manifestations and laws.
What does it mean?
Everything has come, as you say,
Yes.
but then it has been decoded, right?
Yeah, so that means human mind, right?
That's the human doing.
So
human mind.
that's what we are going and we are trying to decode and we are trying to understand. Lovely, with our own buddhi. Wonderful. Right? It has already come and wonderful, Neera. All we are doing is trying to decode with our buddhi. Lovely. Okay?
So that means all these scriptures and all the shastras that have come down to us, they all have been decoded?
Yeah. Now let's look into Ishvara because this Shastra is making us understand what is Ishvara. So we are using Shastra, you are right, to decode what is Ishvara. Wonderful. What is, decode what is the ultimate reality. Wonderful. We are using Shastra to decode everything. Lovely. Wonderful. That's a nice expression. I like it. So therefore, this one of the karma is one the other manifestation. These are not mechanical laws. What is the difference? Mechanical laws means what? They are just mechanical. What are we saying? That there is an intelligence which manifests in form of what? One law, which is what? Law of gravity, as the law of physics,
Laws of nature.
laws of all different laws of nature. But there is an intelligence behind, which gives manifestation to that law, and that law doesn't just work alone, it works in conjunction with all the other laws. So that's why we give it a name called Isha. They are not just dumb inner laws. There is a whole design, as I told you, right? If I want to make the one given object, I need so much knowledge. So if there is something which brings about the whole universe, you need that intelligence which manifests as all these different laws. They are not just dumb mechanical laws, there is an intelligence behind it. That intelligence is Isha, which manifests those laws and connects it with all other laws to make the universe what it is. Okay? Now, the whole Vedic culture, it's an amazing culture. Because it extends the understanding of that intelligence even way further. To these normal disciplines, we added what? Karma and dharma. Now, it stretches it way more. How? It says, all of us are born, all of us want what? Certain amount of intelligence. Our little intelligence to decode. Lovely word, Neera. Okay. But who has what intelligence? Have we sat down and organized our brain to say, now I want to become, I wish a lot of the people tell me that you live through your kids. You want to become something, you could not become that, and then you put all the pressure on your kids to become what you could not become. That means you wish you were this, but you are stuck with what? A brain, which may not be what you wish. Who has organized this brain? Have you? If the brain was organized with your consent, what would have happened? You would have organized it exactly as your IQ of an Einstein and as far as music is concerned, I want to be a Beethoven, and for art, I want to be Leonardo da Vinci, and I want to, you would have organized your brain exactly as you wanted. But you come with the brain, with its own possibilities. What is that principle which organizes? All of us have neurons, but they are all organized in a different way, with different tendencies, samskaras, different inclinations, different talents, child prodigies in one direction or the other. What is that law which organizes our intelligence? There is that grand intelligence which organizes human brain with different intelligence and different inclinations. That law is given a name. What is the name? Goddess Saraswati. Just as the plant is organized, and when I study the plants, I give it a name. What is the name I give? Botany. The intelligence which organizes our little intelligence, we give it a name called Goddess Saraswati. So therefore, if I want more of it, who do I pray to? Saraswati. The intelligence which organizes, everybody wants to be Steve Jobs. I do kids class. And I ask them, who do you want to be? Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. Right? Everybody wants wealth. But how much of wealth, who is going to get, is partly a function of your own effort, but partly what? Some help you get, you don't even know. There are laws which govern that. Those laws, the intelligence which govern how much wealth, who is going to have, we've given it a name. What is the name?
Lakshmi.
Goddess Lakshmi.
It's just a name.
It's looking at intelligence from a given standpoint.
Like an object.
No, but if I say it's all intelligence, that all intelligence is what? It goes above my head because I don't even know what that all intelligence means. But if I decode it, and if I make you see, by that intelligence I mean the intelligence which governs the planet. Then what? The intelligence which governs the plants. The intelligence which governs human brain. The intelligence which governs your sense of ethics. What the all intelligence is better understood. Otherwise it just remains some vague concept. You don't know what is meant by all intelligence. It's decoding. And decoding it further and further and further so that what? You can see it everywhere. The intelligence which governs how much what? The conscious power I have and the unconscious power I have. That is also what? Goddess Durga. Power. And the flip side of the power, Kali. We understood. Goddess Kali. So that means the whole manifestation through all the series of laws, there is intelligence within intelligence within intelligence which governs our existence. That one intelligence seen from many different standpoints, and when you give them specific names, then the existence of that intelligence becomes what? Much more real. your understanding. Now, the Vedic culture goes even beyond that, beyond the laws, into the objects. The sun. What is sun? Hydrogen atoms. Right? The hydrogen atoms, what? Are organized. There is an intelligence which organizes those hydrogen atoms in a way that what?
Heat and light.
Heat and light comes to us. So that means that behind that arrangement of atoms of hydrogen there is an intelligence which makes the sun what it is, and it makes it do what it does for us. So that means even the sun is no longer looked at what? Just bunch of hydrogen atoms, but what? The intelligence which is behind that sun. So that's why every morning people go and what do? They do worship to the sun. Are they praying to the hydrogen atoms? Are they? Who are they praying to? Ishvara, intelligence, in form of the sun. Om, Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha. Tat Savituhurva Varenyam. That intelligence which pervades the whole universe, one of the manifestations of that intelligence is the sun. To that I salute. Because just as the sun is shining, what? Remove the darkness from my buddhi. Gayatri Mantra. Thousands of years ago. Water. You are at Ganga. Meera's question, why do we look upon Ganga? Ganga is just water. It's just river, water. What is water? H2O, hydrogen atom, 2 hydrogen atoms with 1 oxygen atom. What is there to pray? There is that intelligence which makes what? The river flow. The mountain peaks, the glaciers. What happens? There is this whole arrangement. What is the arrangement?
Melting off.
Melting of the snow, which starts what? Rivers. And those rivers take their own directions and merge in where? Into the ocean. Arrangement. And while doing that, what do? They provide potable water to all of us to make our life possible. Imagine a life without this water available to you. Imagine the villages where they have to walk for miles to get the water. It comes here. It comes available to us on this earth, interior parts of the earth, through this mechanism of river.
Home delivery.
Home delivery. There is an intelligence there. You don't take it for granted. What do? Every morning, you go and you pray. Do you pray to hydrogen and oxygen atoms? You pray to that intelligence. Ganga is a Devi. A Vedic culture, you find there is no such thing called material world in Vedic culture. All that is here is what? Manifestation of Ishvara. Everything, tree. You look at the tree. How many doris are all put on this tree? There's amla tree. Go and see how many people have tied those those strings. Astamalaka. Tree is a source which gives you what? In that whole arrangement, it plays a very important role. Not only it gives you all the nutrients, what does it do? It absorbs all the carbon dioxide and gives out oxygen. Part of the arrangement. Ishvara, one of the manifestation of Ishvara. So not only the laws are all manifestation of Ishvara, the objects which are subject to those laws are also what? Manifestation of Ishvara. Besides objects, laws, time and space, is there anything else in the creation? The entire thing is what? Ishvara. Vedic vision. We don't talk about there is one Ishvara, we say all that is here is Ishvara. Find me a place and time or an object which is not pervaded by Ishvara.
And this is the reason that it makes no sense to divide in material.
Exactly. And this is the reason where I think some of you listen to my YouTube talks, and one or two sentences get stuck, in their minds. And one of the talks I gave, when I said, according to the Vedic vision, we have no division as what? Material and spiritual. Why? Because for us, everything is Ishvara. Find me what is material. The whole object world resolves into Ishvara. Time resolves into Ishvara. Space resolves into Ishvara. All the laws resolve into Ishvara.
And it's unbelievable in this way because we all come with this division in the spiritual world. Don't be so material, give up and...
Exactly. That's why it's the vision of whole, totality. You embrace it all, that is non-duality. People don't even understand the meaning of non-duality. Non-duality means what? One. If it is one, how will you make a division, material and spiritual? Doesn't make sense. But thousands of people buy this story which is based on zero logic. The levels at which we operate are sometimes appalling. Right? So therefore, this Sarvajnaha, Sarvashaktiman, Ishvara is what? The laws, which is what we call the efficient cause of the universe. Nimitta Karana. Of the universe. And not only it is Nimitta Karana, but it also the Upadana Karana. Upadana Karana is the material cause of the universe. Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karana. Simple example which I will do. Just now I will leave you with this example and I will elaborate on it tomorrow. For making this cup, there are two types of causes. One is the maker of this cup, who is a person, and which is what we call nimitta karana, the efficient cause. In philosophical terms, you call it efficient cause, maker. There is another cause for this, which is what? The material cause. In this case, it is what? The steel. Right? So in this case, the maker and the material are two different causes. Right? The maker of this cup makes the cup with the material which is steel, which is other than the person. In case of Ishvara, is it efficient cause of creation alone? No. Huh?
Both together.
Both together. Lovely. This is the main equation. Most of the humanity, I think this morning somebody was telling me, I don't know who it was, our whole orientation is that there is this maker, and where is this maker that we think it is away from us. Right? Away from me in time and space. This is our whole, most of the humanity buys that picture. Ishvara is other than me, it is away from me in time and space. It's at some other location. It is this big entity with all the knowledge and power to whom I have to be what?
Subservient.
Subservient. Vedic vision is totally opposite. As Alok says, it is not only the maker of the universe, it is also what? The material of the universe. What does it mean? The maker can be away from this cup. Can the material cause be away from the cup? No. If Ishvara is the material cause of the creation, can it be away from the creation? No. That's why you begin to look at that intelligence from the standpoint of the laws, you call it nimitta karana, which organizes the objects. When you see the objects which are organized through laws, they themselves are what? Atoms, particles, all organized through intelligence. There is an intelligence which organizes H2O particles and makes it into water. And makes what? Though that water serve all these functions which I need for my body. So even the objects are nothing but what? That intelligence. The objects are nothing but intelligence, of manifestation of that intelligence. The laws which govern the objects are also manifestation of that intelligence. All that is here is that intelligence, appearing as objects and laws, and makes the whole interaction possible. Ishvara. Okay? We will look at it more tomorrow, but tomorrow the emphasis is going to be on the opposite standpoints. So there are all these people waiting to argue with us. Right? Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti